dust storm, man. Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
Alright, so I'd say over the last couple months, news for Star Wars projects has been slow, but somewhat steady. But for one particular event, the silence has been deafening. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing alright. I can't complain.
Right?
Anytime I get to talk Star Wars puts me in a good mood.
Right, for sure.
Whether I'm in a good mood after that is sometimes up for debate, but
yeah,
I'm always in a good mood when we start.
Exactly. even if some of the news isn't all good news, right?
You know what? I would consider this first topic bad news, but at the same time, it's good news because they're finally talking about it.
Yes. At least we're getting something.
Yeah. So Celebration Anaheim. Holy crap! They made an announcement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only been a couple months.
Right.
It's been at least I'd say a month and a half or so that since San Diego Comic-Con, it happens right up the road, announced that they were canceling.
Yeah. So
the silence from Celebration has been, very deafening and uneasy. It's been making fans uneasy.
Rightfully so.
Yes. We got big plans, lots of money invested.
Exactly.
But they have finally, come forward with an answer. And I understand. Let's clearly, I do understand the amount of planning that has to go into this stuff, and with picking a new date, things like that.
Sure.
But it almost seems like they could have just picked this date and figured it out later, because the new date for Celebration Anaheim, because it's been postponed.
Right. Yeah. Make that clear.
Make that clear.
It is postponed. Yes.
Is August 18th through the 21st, 2022.
Yes. Seems like an extra long time, huh?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
So I know why they did this.
I think we all got a pretty good idea.
I have a feeling that this was going to be the next celebration. Okay, this was going to be the date of the next one because they can get out in front of a movie.
Yep.
So why not just go to that? I don't feel like they wanted to do back-to-back celebrations. I think they're trying to step away from that.
Right.
Back-to-back celebrations are tough anyway. Because the celebration goers, they want to go to all of them.
Right. Exactly.
Anyone who's been to one's like, man, I want to go to the next one. This next year, crap, I'm already broke.
Right. So you need some recovery period for sure.
Yeah. So recovery time's good. It hasn't hurt them.
Right.
When they've done it back to back, it's still been massively successful. But I think their target, and it seemed like they were trying to start to set that up, was it was going to be a celebration year, a D23 year, celebration year, D23 year.
Right.
So,
which, I from their standpoint, that kind of makes sense. I get that.
And it allows them to make sure they go big with each event.
Yes, exactly. Which, for something like that, you want to pull out all the stops. So,
and you look at other cons and things like that they do every year. The San Diego Comic-Con, all the big Comic Cons, like they're bringing stuff in from everywhere, right? Star Wars has a presence there.
Yeah.
You got properties coming in from everywhere, whereas D23 and Celebration are much more kind of micro focused.
Yes,
on particular properties,
especially Celebration.
Especially Celebration.
Yeah.
So like doing it every year is tough to make sure that you're bringing the level of content that fans want to see. Because, yes, retrospective panels are fun. They're a blast.
Yeah.
But when you spend that kind of money, you also want to see some new stuff.
Yeah. And from a company standpoint, I'm sure Lucasfilm is got to be looking at these thinking, we need to utilize these for big announcements and things. So,
yeah,
that's I'm sure there's a little bit of influence there.
Yeah, I mean, having been to 2 celebrations where they've revealed sequel trilogy movie trailers.
Right.
I can tell you that, like, around the time of that event, it kind of gets quiet in the hall.
Oh, I bet.
Because everybody's huddled around the screens. Everybody's like, it is time to see this trailer.
Right.
Yeah, there's some people that are like, oh, I'm taking advantage of this. I can see the trailer in 20 minutes. I'm going to go hit all these booths. But like the problem with the booths and things like that sometimes too is like those people are like, I'm watching the trailer, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, the big announcements are kind of a big deal at Celebration. So doing it every year is a tough endeavor. So yeah, I think this is totally because they got a movie coming out. I think it is in 22, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So a movie coming out probably holiday of that year.
Right.
August is a great time to. It's a little late to do the first trailer.
Yeah,
I would think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
2 months before. I mean, they did that with Solo, and it didn't work out so good.
Right. Well, I mean,
it wouldn't be a bad time for a first full length.
Yeah, there you go.
You could have a teaser before that, and the first full length trailer, which I believe is what happened with The Last Jedi. Right, I think we saw a teaser before Celebration.
Something like that, yeah.
And then I saw the full trailer at Celebration.
Yeah, that might be the case.
Because I think the Chewie We're Home thing happened before that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or no, maybe that was the Chewie We're Home one, and the other one was just you saw the Falcon.
Oh, right, yes. BB-8 rolling across the desert. Yeah, Force Awakens. Yep. Right. Yep.
Oh no! Wait, that was Force Awakens. What the hell am I talking about?
I don't know, man. You got me all confused, but I think
I got myself all confused. I'm all twisted up. Talking about the wrong damn movie. All right. So yes, I believe. Never mind. I am going to correct myself. I believe the first trailer we saw for The Last Jedi was at Celebration. Yeah. I don't think there was one before that. I believe it was the Force Awakens trailer, the first full-length trailer with the Chewie We're Home was at San Diego Comic-Con.
Right. Yes.
And the teaser was just on the internet one day.
Yep. Yep, so, that's how that worked.
Because you saw the Falcon first, you didn't see Han yet.
Right.
Until the second one, so... All right. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah. Just in case y'all didn't remember. That's
Well, apparently it's hard to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
You can cross up movies. Who knew?
Yeah.
All right. One thing we're not going to cross up is Doug.
Yes.
Did you see the trailer? For Star Wars Squadrons.
I did see this trailer. This thing looks pretty cool.
Yeah. This is something we've talked about before. Like, we'd love to see another Rogue Squadron, right? Another Star Wars X-Wing.
Right.
Something along those lines. And they're answering the call. Star Wars Squadrons looks very much in those, in that vein.
Right.
And but with a little more variety. A little more playing the side of the Empire, playing the side of the, Rebellion.
Right.
So it looks like you're going to have story for both.
Yes, which is cool.
I like those bounce around stories when you're like on the good side, the bad side, the good side, the bad side.
Yeah, it gives you a little insight as to how both are thinking in this particular storyline.
Yep. Yeah, it gives you like differing perspectives on the same event.
Right.
So like Call of Duty, things like that are good for that.
Yeah.
Seeing it from both sides. But yeah, I mean, this game looks gorgeous too.
It does.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yep. So, one thing I got to say I'm a little excited about is the timeline of this game.
Yep.
You caught that?
The timeline of the game as in it's OT?
Well,
or what?
They're talking 4 to 5 years after the Battle of Yavin. So, let's see. I have an article from Inverse up about this. Star Wars Squadrons will also feature a single-player story that brings to life events following the Battle of Endor. So
in between Empire and Jedi.
After Jedi.
After Jedi. What the hell is wrong with me tonight?
Yes, but
you said Endor. I heard Hoth. I mean, I'm just.
It's all right. We'll get through this, Joe. It'll be all right.
Look, I'm a little shaken because, like, when we were getting ready tonight,
Yeah.
We had a conversation about how good things have been,
Right.
and then like Skype cut out on us.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
I'm a little shaken.
We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
I'm just like looking at my window right here. I'm like, yeah. So that's the only excuse I can think of. I'm not this far off very often, so this is bad. This is really bad.
It's all right.
It's all right. I got duck. This is why this is a 2-person show.
That's right. Yeah.
Because one of us catches the other one, and we don't need you to say, "Hey, you dummy."
Exactly. Feel free, but
Oh yeah, he says feel free when it's me that would be the target.
Exactly.
All right, continue.
So, beyond that, there's a couple little Easter eggs in that trailer. I don't know if you noticed. The one was kind of like, you might not catch it, but apparently the one pilot that kind of like gives the nod to the other pilot as they're launching is supposed to be Wedge. So that's kind of cool. And after you know about that, then you can kind of see it, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's video game, not live action
Right.
character. Then the other thing was in the what do you call it? The briefing room type scenario.
Yeah.
Just off to the right of the guy talking, we have Harrison Dula standing there.
Nice.
Yes. So might get a little, story tie-in. Be kind of cool.
Do we get to fly the Ghost?
Oh, now that would be fun, wouldn't it?
I mean, this would be a good time to catch me with that kind of information because I just got done watching Rebels, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, like 2 weeks ago, but yeah, it'd be a good time to catch me on that because like, oh, I want to fly the Ghost.
Absolutely. So something else that's kind of cool is, and you'll have to let me know if this is a big deal or not. I don't, but apparently you'll be able to play 5v5 cross-platform. So Xbox versus PC versus PlayStation.
Okay, so they just convinced me to get this on PC.
Well, another feature of PC says it's going to be the flight stick controls compatible. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. So you'll be able to do that. And also for PC, it will be PC and PlayStation VR compatible.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that.
Yeah. But I mean, all cool stuff. And I'm hearing the price point. You're talking like $40.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at launch, which is like, wow. I mean, it's not a bad price for a video game these days.
No, especially since we're in the days right now where everything seems to be going up in price.
Exactly.
That is a welcome thing right now.
Right.
Like, hey,
for sure.
something that's actually going to be cheaper than it usually is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's probably now. Let's make sure that it's not like, oh, the base game
Right.
is going to be $49. But if you want everything,
Yes. Yeah.
that is $99.
I think they've learned that lesson. Let's hope they've learned that lesson. Right?
Well, this is not a lesson that they had to learn. Okay, I mean, the microtransactions is a lesson they had to learn.
Right.
The idea of like a season pass, something like that, is something that is widely accepted for some reason. So
True.
like map packs, things like that. Like, oh, if you buy the $99 version, you'll get all the expansion packs, the map packs, things like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But the $49.99 is only the base game, so you'd have to buy the expansion packs if you want to, get the new maps and.
Right.
So that was like, that's one of my point of contentions is like, okay, you've already got like the names of all this stuff. Like, you're doing it.
Yeah.
It seems like you're intentionally withholding content that you made for more money.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that was always kind of like a point of contention for me. It's like, you're selling me an incomplete game because, yeah, it just feels that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see how it would.
They were much better off back in the early days of this, like with the Call of Duty stuff and things like that. Whereas like you're playing, you didn't know there were expansion packs coming. It's like, oh, we made an expansion to the game here. And you're like, sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
New stuff for this game I love. Like, awesome. Now they sell that all that stuff in advance now that with the names and what it's going to be and everything. That way they can, get your money before you decide whether or not you like the game.
Yeah. Well, that's a big company thing as well, right? They want to kind of know what they're going to be able to make on this ahead of time,
Right.
But all in all, this sounds good to me. I love the fact there's going to be a campaign that can be played through. That's cool.
Yeah, And I do like the timeline. Like, that was one thing I liked about Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
With the campaign that came along with it.
Yep.
Was that timeline.
Absolutely.
Filling in that gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
You saw the major victory over the Empire, but that the Empire just didn't lay down after that.
Of course.
Those remnants were still going to fight.
Yeah.
And I like that this is going to continue to explore that that territory, because there was still going to be some vicious fighting after that.
Absolutely.
Just now the Republic were on the Rebellion was on even footing.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No more super weapon, right? So
no more super weapon, no more leadership.
Right. Cut the head off the snake.
Yep.
For sure.
So, yeah. Sounds fun. Looks fun. I'm convinced to get PC version.
Right on.
Cross-platform, man, just does not favor the console players. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Something about 150 frames per second versus 60.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. Well, you remember a while back, there was a book that come out called From a Certain Point of View.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got that book.
So it was some, alternate looks at already existing stories. So, like, the viewpoint from the person in the back of the room, right?
Yeah, yeah. Ancillary stories that go along with the main storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
Has its good stories and its stories that seem to expand upon, and some that seem kind of revisionist.
Right.
But interesting concept nonetheless. Well, they're doing it again.
Okay.
So, it's anniversary time, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got you. Yep.
Anniversary time, so you might as well do a From a Certain Point of View, The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So some of the authors have been revealed, and some little sneak peeks at some of the stories that they're telling. This is all coming from StarWars.com.
Okay.
So some of the authors, and here's the authors and some of the sneak peeks. So Austin Walker is going to explore the unlikely partnership of bounty hunters Dengar and IG-88 as they pursue Han Solo.
Okay.
So if you're a Dengar fan, there you go.
Yeah. Interesting. Because, I mean, I guess you have to wonder how they did pursuing Han Solo when Boba Fett was kind of like there the whole time, right?
Right. So then we got Hank Green chronicles the life of a naturalist caring for Tauntauns on the frozen world of Hoth. So we got the Tauntaun zookeeper.
Okay. All right.
Must be something there.
Yeah. Not a story that I was aware of that, was, I don't know.
It must be told.
It must. Okay.
So Tracy Dion delves into the dark heart of the Dagobah cave where Luke confronts a terrifying vision.
Ooh,
sounds like maybe a little point of contention.
I'd have to see the story. Okay, first off, but I mean, there's part of the whole thing about that cave is the mystery of the cave, right? I don't want all of its secrets revealed necessarily. You know what I mean?
Kind of like the Yoda species,
right? Kind of. I mean, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see where this story goes.
Yeah. So Martha Wells reveals the world of the Ugnaught clans who dwell in the depths of Cloud City. This sounds like it could be fun.
Sure. Yeah.
So that sounds like it could be fun to see, get a little dive underneath the behind the scenes.
Right.
I do kind of enjoy those kinds of stories when they do that.
Okay, so yes, that one kind of like what it reminds me of is like, like the old Tales from the Cantina stories we used to get, from the old EU, like talking about the band there, and some of the stuff that they had going on before and after.
Talking about was it Figrin Don and the Moto Nodes?
Yes, that band. Yes. So,
you said the Cantina, right?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. It's not Max Rebo. It's
Yeah, I was just making sure I didn't name the wrong band.
Yeah.
I've been on a roll tonight.
No, you did good, Joe.
Yes. Winning.
So yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff I could get into. I dig that. That's cool.
Yeah. So Mark Oshiro recounts the Wampa's tragic tale of loss and survival.
Okay. This reminds me of we've had stories like this in the EU before. Okay.
He was just looking for a hug, man.
Oh. Yes, too soon.
Too soon?
Yeah. Wampa wants a hug?
Yeah.
Lost an arm.
I meant before he lost the arm.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He was misunderstood, man.
I see.
He hung Luke upside down to prevent hypothermia.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just spitballing here.
Okay.
So, Seth Dickinson interrogates the cost of serving a ruthless empire aboard the bridge of a doomed Imperial starship. So kind of memoirs of the officer.
Right. I've made some mistakes in my life. Working for the Empire.
I feel that's what he was saying as he was running away from the fireball. Like, mistakes were made!
Yes, exactly.
Wrong side!
I like it. Sounds like it could be interesting,
Yeah,
some
I
of
mean,
these stories.
like I said, the first book was ups and downs, right?
Right.
So and I expect the same, and it's not the same ups and downs for everybody.
Exactly.
So what I see as some downs, other people see as ups. So hey,
and that's exactly how a book like this should be, right? Because you're going to have different things. Clearly, we had different side characters and background characters that appealed to these different authors, and they're going to appeal to different readers. So that'll be cool.
Well, not only that, but if a book was a book with the name From a Certain Point of View appealed to everyone, like it was still coming from the same point of view,
Yeah.
then what sense would that make? Like the fact that I'm like, I didn't really get that. Well, that wasn't my point of view, like it was. So it makes sense that a book like this is going to have some rubs with some people.
Exactly.
It's just the way it is. I mean, the whole idea of the book is just different perspectives all along the way. So it's not a bad thing that this has stories that don't gel with everybody.
Yep.
So it's kind of the whole point.
Exactly. Yes.
So, yeah, I know there's going to be stuff in here I don't like. I don't have a problem with it.
Right. Yep. It's kind of how it works. I like it.
Yeah. We don't always see eye to eye. That's the whole point of different points of view, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
So, and it does say, plus more hilarious, heartbreaking, and astonishing tales from, and there's a whole list of the authors. I'll pick out some notables.
Okay.
Okay, just some of the big names, not discrediting any of the names that don't jump out to me, but I'm just picking some of the ones that jump out.
Okay.
So Delilah S. Dawson, Jason Fry, Christy Golden, E.K. Johnston, Amy Radcliffe, Gary Whitta. There was another one that was John Jackson Miller.
Ooh, nice.
So there's a lot of authors here. Not a lot that I recognize. And you know what? The ones that I don't recognize are probably the ones I'll be looking at a little closer because you're new to me.
Right. I like it. So definitely sounds interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's been a weird concept from the start, but interesting.
Right.
Have something to add to the conversation, or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @TheWarsAndMore on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us, and we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TheWarsAndMore. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com. All right, so it's been I think 2 weeks since we've talked about this guy. Mark Hamill was talking with Entertainment Tonight. Sometimes it don't feel right without Mark, just kind of making an appearance in there, right?
Yeah.
It's Mark Hamill. Whenever he talks, we kind of go, what's he got to say?
Of course. He's always got something to say, right? So
well, yeah, I mean, it's either something about, stuff he's working on with Star Wars, things like that, or it's something, about how he's not coming back, or it's something batshit crazy.
Yeah. Well, okay, so he was talking with Entertainment Tonight about he's got a role in the TV show version of What We Do in the Shadows. Okay, this is the television show version of the movie that Taika Waititi was involved with, right? That he starred in and did whatever work he did on it. It's very highly acclaimed, right? So Mark Hamill has a role in the TV series. He was talking about that, but then, as always, you have one of these Star Wars celebrities on, Star Wars always comes up.
Never fails.
Never fails. So I have to say, it was a little sad to hear him say it like this, but he's kind of reiterating what he's been saying here for the last little while. So,
but unfortunately, my Star Wars days are over. But like I say, there's so many stories they can tell, so many talented actors and writers and directors that now I can be just a fan, and I am a fan. So I'll always be partial to any Star Wars project. This time in the audience.
Wow.
Yeah. It just hurt me to hear him say that.
So, I mean, we speculated on he said something similar to this before, and we're like, oh, it seemed very like his time as Luke Skywalker was done.
Right.
This time he says flat out, no, my time in Star Wars is done. It's like, no.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's, I don't know. For someone who's, when I was a kid, Luke Skywalker was my hero, right? It just was that way. And I don't know. He's kind of putting the exclamation point on his Star Wars career, kind of. And it's like, man, it just sucks to hear him say that. So,
right. I mean, as I sit here looking at this mini Luke Skywalker lightsaber sitting right here on my desk, that's sad.
Yeah, exactly. But
so, yeah, I mean, that is kind of the exclamation point, though. Like, he's saying and he's saying it in a different way, though. That right? It's not like he's like, I'm done. No, he's like, I'm going to be a fan now.
Yes.
And then not only that, but he also puts it out there as like, look, there are other people with stories to tell.
Right.
Other people with, characters to express. He feels it's time for him to step away and let them take over.
Right.
and he can just sit back and enjoy it like we do.
Exactly. Oh,
And there's got to be some respect for that. Like,
yeah, oh, totally.
Hey, he obviously feels good enough about Star Wars that, like, now that his time is done as an actor, he's like, oh, I still want to watch it.
Right. That would be the worst, I guess, is if he didn't, right?
Yeah, if he's like, no, I'm done. To hell with Star Wars. That would be devastating.
Yes, exactly. Well, I guess he proves here that he doesn't feel that way, and they asked him what he was, watching now in Star Wars. And
My son said, "Dad, you got to watch Mandalorian." And again, I thought this is so smart of them to make it minimalist, where you can focus on the characters and the story. And the advantage they have is they don't have to deliver a epic special effects extravaganza. They can really hone in on the smaller stories. And I thought it's very much in the spirit of what George wanted originally. And I just thought it was superb. It was so well done.
so, like the rest of us, he's digging on the Mandalorian. So,
Yeah, it's hard not to.
right.
It's hard not to. And Mark's been very vocal over the years about how he felt about the original trilogy versus, stuff that's been done after that. And
Right.
he likes that minimalist approach.
Yes, for sure.
Even though they were kind of forced into that back in those days. Their hand was forced with being minimalist. The
Right.
budgets just weren't there.
Right.
So they made what they could out of what they had, but he seems to have always appreciated that kind of approach.
Yeah.
And I think there is some merit to that, because with that kind of approach, you really focus on character building and storytelling, things like that. Because where you lack in special effects and stuff, which the amazing part is that Star Wars was a special effects marvel.
Yes.
Yeah, in its time.
Groundbreaking.
But it was that way because of what they did with what they had. It's really a weird kind of animal when you think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had all these restrictions, but they still managed to, like, raise the bar.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I think you benefit from that when you have limited resources and you have to make do with what you got. Like, you get more creative.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whenever you have more restrictions placed on you, you have to become more creative to actually get the job done. Yeah,
and he was just fortunate that, like, at that time, the ideas that he came up with just looked better than anything else that I've ever done.
Yeah.
Even
absolutely.
though, technology speaking, it might not have been the, like, latest and greatest technology in every case, but just the way it was executed was better.
Yep. Yeah. And having a lot of people that were passionate about the project, that always helps.
Especially since film it really is kind of run that way anyway. Is like, okay, how can we make the most spectacular looking thing we can the cheapest way we can?
Right.
So George did that because he had to. They do it nowadays because they want to.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
creativity, man.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty cool. Mark had one last thing to say about the Mandalorian. In lieu of other things that we'll be hearing about momentarily, I just thought this was kind of interesting. What Mark was talking about here.
But I mean, it takes place, I guess, after Return of the Jedi and before the sequel. So,
Yeah.
Like I say, there's so many ways they can go. But those two, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, I worked with, they're both just the right person in the right job, because they know they know it better than I do.
It's kind of funny, right? I don't know. Maybe Mark feels like he's the last word on knowing Star Wars, but you know.
Well, I mean, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, just kind of interesting. He you know, obviously he's worked with Dave and you know, there's a respect there, and you know, he obviously likes what Jon Favreau's done, so you know, it's seems to be pretty standard, right? I mean, that's still pretty high praise coming from Mark Hamill himself, right?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Like, when you first said that, I was kind of like, when did Mark work with Dave? It's like, oh, Clone Wars, Rise of Skywalker. I'm sure Dave was around.
Right.
You know, I don't know how much involvement he would have had with Mark, but you know, I'm pretty sure his involvement in the Rise of Skywalker kind of centered around the elements that were kind of borrowed from those Clone Wars storylines.
Right.
So, mainly because it's like, hey, we're going to use some of your characters in this last scene.
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah, pretty cool stuff.
yeah. So, talking about The Mandalorian.
Yes.
We've been talking about spin-offs, right?
Yep.
So they've been talking about stories that spin off from The Mandalorian and using The Mandalorian as a launching pad.
Right.
Well, there may be some merit to that. So I believe this is LRM.
Yeah, lrmonline.com. Yep.
Yes. So, according to them, a source at Lucasfilm states that the studio is planning to create a universe where all Disney Plus shows will be connected with a central storyline. So they're looking at making shows that are all interconnected, like a weekly MCU, right? Like,
right.
So all this stuff is going to kind of be tied into this same storyline.
Yes.
And, you know, some of the names that are being tossed out for this are like Ahsoka Tano, Boba Fett, Ezra Bridger, Admiral Thrawn.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're... Whew, that last one was like, I read that, I was like, Ezra Bridger, Admiral Thrawn.
Right. Yeah. Live action Thrawn. Something that lots of fans have been clamoring for a long time. So, something they mention in this article is the plan is starting mid-2021 to have a Star Wars show releasing every quarter. If that's true, fasten your belts, kids, because, you know, there's going to be a lot coming pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean, wow, I just realized something.
What's that?
Well, since we're talking about, you know, The Mandalorian and stuff around that, we know The Mandalorian's coming in October.
Right.
But we didn't mention that Star Wars Squadrons was coming October 2nd.
Oh, right. That is true.
So, like, October, like, this year, October is going to be a hot month.
Yes.
Right? But, like, and I was just going to use that information to go, wow, like, so we're looking at, like, hot months like that. Like, we're going to see, you know, bam, and then bam. Like we just saw with Clone Wars and, you know. So, that's going to be like a new normal.
Yeah.
TV show-wise.
Yeah. So it does say mid 2021. So we're gonna have the Mandalorian season 2, and it looks like we're probably gonna have a about 3/4 of a year to get back around to. But if they're planning on doing this a show every quarter thing, we're gonna wind up with lots of Star Wars coming on a regular basis, and that's going to be kind of cool. I gotta say, especially.
Well, weren't we seeing other content coming our way 2021? I think either Obi-Wan or Cassian series were somewhere in that time frame.
Well, Obi-Wan, I believe they're
rumored.
They're filming early in 2021, I believe. Not sure about the Cassian series.
I mean, all that stuff's been pushed back. So
yeah, clearly, yep.
All of our timelines right now are kind of like screwed up because of the pandemic.
Right.
Which, understandably so, you don't want to put people in, harm's way to make TV.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's, how long's TV been around? There's content out there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I mean, no one's seen all of it, so there's stuff to watch.
Yeah.
So it's that will be an interesting pace every quarter. So you basically finish one show to start another show.
Right. But I think you almost need that kind of a pace if they are actually going to do what they're talking about doing here. If you have some sort of like overarching story line that all of these shows twist in and out of, you're going to need the last show fresh in your mind when the next one's airing, kind of thing, to understand what's going on, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's a good idea to prevent overdoing it too, to where you're not running 3 shows in one season and then you get a break and then you run 3 shows in one season.
Right.
Like that's like the Arrowverse does that, where like all these, there's 4 shows, right? 4 shows and they all run simultaneously.
Right.
So you're watching Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, or some crap like that to watch all these shows.
Yep.
If you do it quarterly and they kind of weave in a way that you don't need, this one 3 days before for this one to make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, so you weave it in a really tactful way. And not only that, but you keep a steady stream of content and kind of get rid of that whole void thing.
Right. So, definitely interesting. I mean, the other thing of note here is I'm going to read right from the article. It says, the shows will be overseen by none other than Dave Filoni, who has successfully adapted Star Wars to the small screen, starting with Clone Wars, Rebels, and The Mandalorian. We all knew they were grooming Filoni for big things, and this suite of shows is exactly what it was. So, I guess that's a pretty bold statement right there. I mean, it's something that a lot of us have been asking for, but
yeah, actually a lot of people have been asking for a lot more than this. They've been asking for Filoni to be like the Kevin Feige of Star Wars.
Well, in a sense, that's kind of what this is making him, but this is all Star Wars on the small screen as opposed to
the big screen.
The big screen, which, obviously Kevin Feige was in charge of the big screen stuff. But, there was also a while back all that talk of Kevin Feige doing a Star Wars movie and him coming in to, help out with the Star Wars continuity and stuff. And I mean, you have Jon Favreau, those guys know each other. Yeah. So I could see their. Let's just put it this way. I'm sure there were meetings, right? So, maybe he helped lay out a blueprint, and how this can be achieved. And then you have someone like Dave Filoni with his extensive knowledge of the Star Wars universe. I kind of feel like, this could actually have legs.
I wouldn't be surprised if this article is stopping a little short with just saying Dave Filoni. I wouldn't be surprised that Jon Favreau will have more involvement in this as well.
I agree
because I think those two have shown that as a duo.
Yep.
They're kicking ass.
Yes.
Let's just not sugarcoat it. Mainly because while Filoni has this Star Wars vision, right? This way of making things fit,
right,
and making sure things don't contradict each other and things like that. He's got that down.
Yes.
Okay? So he is your Star Wars encyclopedia. But Jon Favreau has a way of recruiting creators.
Yep.
Like, he's finding these directors and writers. Like, he's got this way of just bringing in good people to do this.
That's his production side knowledge, and that's something that Dave's working on, but he knows the canon universe, quote unquote, right? So that it's like, I don't know what else to call it.
Because you look at the director lineup we had for season 1 and the product that they put out.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Jon Favreau can pick people, and
then some of the announcements we've already had for season 2. It's like, wow, this is amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And some of the people that he's already picked for that stuff have already been signed on for even bigger projects.
Right.
So he can pick them. Because you got Deborah Chow doing Obi-Wan, you got Taika Waititi doing a movie.
Yep.
So, like, this is all spawning out of The Mandalorian and what Dave and John have brought together. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see those two sticking around as a duo.
Yeah.
Because, no doubt, and nobody's ever argued this, Dave Filoni can, make things fit, especially in an episodic format.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he has shown a real talent at that, which is like, it's got to be even harder than doing 3 movies.
Yeah,
to do 24 episodes and make everything fit and have stuff jump around is just a mean feat. And to do it for 3 shows.
Yeah,
so.
I could see it happening, and man. For all of our sake, I hope it's true, because it just means there's good things to come in the future.
Yeah, and like I said, because they've done a great job of attracting new people.
Yep.
But new people with bold ideas, but get it.
Right.
Like, get the old, but like move us forward. Because we don't want to stay in stasis.
No, not at all.
None of us want like just rehashes of old Star Wars all the time. We want something that captures the essence of Star Wars, but moves us forward. And this cast and crew and everybody they've recruited have been doing that in a fantastic way.
Right.
So yeah, I'd love to see those two stick around and work together. And you watch, like we've been talking about the gallery stuff in weeks past, and
yep,
like you watch that and you see this continuity between all these people is like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand we're just getting the highlights, but it seems like they are really all getting, like, you're seeing directors that aren't even working on that episode hanging around.
Right. Exactly.
Like, what's that about?
I know. It's funny because you think about it in context of like how we work. It's like, yeah, my day off, I'm not coming in just to hang out with you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I like you and all, but no.
Yeah, you walk over, it's like, yeah, boss has got me doing this, this, and this. Like, whoa, that sucks. See ya.
Yep.
Like, I know how to do that stuff. I'm not hanging around to get roped into this.
That's right. It's amazing. These people have a job where they want to go in there and hang out. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely good.
That's funny.
All right, so last thing on the agenda here. Last thing. We've been talking about Obi-Wan.
Ah, yes.
So Ewan McGregor.
Yep. He was doing an interview with Ace Universe. And they talked about some of the things he's got coming up. And as always, like we talked about with Mark Hamill, always comes back around to Star Wars. It's always brought up, right? And they started talking about the how production might go and stuff, and he kind of references back to how they did things before.
I'm trying to remember how old I was when we started the first one, but I was, it was the mid to late 90s, I think. And when we shot episode 1, I'm just going to enjoy it all much more. I think our technology is such now that we were, I think we shot the first one on film, and we shot the second one when we got to Australia on the new HD cameras, which were sort of pretty primitive compared to what they are now. And so it was quite technically, it was quite complicated, I remember. And it was just all blue screen and green screen. And so it was hard to imagine it.
So he's referencing how they shot the prequels and how so much of it was just done on a sound stage in front of a blue screen, and everything was added in afterwards. And how difficult that was for them from time to time. So
That's odd. He said that about episode 1?
yeah.
Didn't they shoot most of that in the desert? I guess not most of his scenes.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on which scenes, I mean...
Yeah, I guess now that I think about it, yeah, most of his scenes were shot on a soundstage.
Right.
Yeah, he got a short end of the stick when it came to
shooting locations. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and this
Like
is...
even his Tatooine scenes is like, you're in a ship. We can do that on a stage.
Yeah, for sure. He does go on to talk a little bit about what he thinks is going to be happening for Obi-Wan and how they're planning on shooting.
But nowadays, I think things have moved on so much, and I think a lot of what you see is going to be what we see on the set. I don't know if you've seen any of the Mandalorian, the behind the scenes of the Mandalorian series, but they employ that incredible screen, and I don't even begin to know how it works, but it's pretty amazing, And so when you're on set, if you're in a snowscape or something, well, when you look around, you see that and it makes you feel like you're in the place. I think it's going to be more. It's going to feel realer for us, for the actors, and I think we'll be using some of that technology on our show.
So it only makes sense that for Obi-Wan they'll be using, and what he's referring to is the volume. And I'm sure plenty of us have seen a lot of talk about that and what that is.
We talked a lot about that in, a couple weeks ago. We dove into that technology,
right?
That with that screen that standing in the middle there, and there's a screen that's all the way around. They're shooting on that, like digital backgrounds.
And I would like would like for us to go in deeper on that, because I think there's aspects of that people don't quite understand that would be pretty interesting to cover. But we're getting a little long here tonight. But
yeah,
I think taking a little deeper dive into it would be kind of cool. I think we'll have to save that for another show. But like I said, it only makes sense, because you could have Obi-Wan anywhere on Tatooine or off Tatooine, and it's all done on a soundstage here inside the volume. So kind of cool, and I like the fact that he seems excited about doing it that way, because that's another thing that we keep hearing from actors is that they love shooting this way because they have stuff that they can react to all around them. So,
well, yeah, I mean, when the actors are getting some visual inputs,
yes,
as opposed to like I can't imagine what it's like, acting in a big room that's entirely blue or green.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you got to have some really magical imagination to really make that work.
Yeah, and it's amazing to hear so many of these actors talk about how this is actually being able to shoot this way is bringing back kind of a lot of the old school concepts of filmmaking, and they love that. So,
right,
kind of cool. So Ewan had one last thing here, kind of a little joke, I guess, but I just thought it was neat. I don't know.
But there's some great fan ideas for it. I don't know if you've seen some of the fan art, but there's an amazing poster where they've named it "Hello There." That's the name of the movie. Hello There, the Obi-Wan Kenobi story or whatever. But it's that would be fun. That would get my vote. Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
That's funny. What cracks me up about hearing that was I was actually speaking to a coworker today who had never put together Obi-Wan's "Hello There" from episode 4 to then finally episode 3, and it's like, yeah, that's it's kind of the same thing, pull the hood back, hello there, or jump down from the rafters,
yeah,
kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny too, because the episode 3 one definitely gets more.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the big meme one for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, you followed up with General Kenobi.
Yes,
you're a bold one.
Yes,
it's like, you think about it, it's like, yeah, that was pretty bold.
That's
like, you just dropped down in a room full of droids. It's like, what's up?
I do have to say, if I walk into the house after work and say hello there to my family, I am greeted with that response.
You're a bold one.
Well, yeah. The General Kenobi would be the. And then sometimes I do it on purpose, and I get irritated if they don't respond that way. So. Just kidding.
Yeah, if I walked in, it's like, hello there. Cat would just say, hi.
Hi. Right. Yeah.
I'm going to sit in front of my computer.
Right. That's funny.
It's like you don't get me.
Now that's funny.
All right. Well, if you have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. But we are also on social media. We're at The Wars and More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We will talk next week.